Good morning, fellow Hoops fans. Welcome back to another episode of The Last Shot NBA show here on Little Birdie TV. And as always, we are brought to you by our good friends over there at topsport.com.au. Now, Wednesday morning, we usually have our international guests on. Our international guest is actually flying back home from All-Star Weekend that he was at and covering. So we're going to have to bring in BK. We're moving BK Fridays onto BK Wednesdays. BK, my brother, how are you, sir?
I'm good, my man. A whole week of BK. Lucky you.
Yeah. Listen, man, I can never have too much BK in my life, man. It's always a good time with you, man. How did you enjoy All-Star Monday for us?
Man, I thought the All-Star game was fun. I really liked the elementing with the target score. Like that game really just turned up a notch once that fourth quarter hit. But the whole game and night was really cool. The NBA 75 ceremony at halftime, it was just cool seeing all those legends out there in their blazers. You don't really get to see the game's greats, collected in one place that often. So that was definitely cool.
Yeah, it was definitely the highlight of the weekend for me. We were talking about this off air just a little bit earlier. We were just saying the bar was set pretty low after the NBA Saturday night events or the dunk contest. But the game itself was super fun to watch. Like you said, these new, the target score and all that really contributes to sort of making it a much more enjoyable experience. And also just watching Steph Curry go absolutely nuclear on the All-Star game was just, oh my God, I'm still like, I have no words for this thing. Like 50 points, record 16 3-pointers made, which is the most for any NBA game, regular season, postseason, All-Star game. Like, too shy of, I think it was Anthony Davis has got the all-time points total of 52, so he was too short of that. At one point, the cameras caught him, talking into the microphone, asking what the all-time total is, because he was looking to break that thing.
Yeah, and he had 45 after three quarters. I thought it was a lock for him to get the record. But, I mean, the previous record for threes was 9, set by Paul George in the All-Star game, so he obliterated that record. But that was one of the best All-Star game performances I've ever seen. To drop a 50-piece and just the way he was getting it too, just lighting up from the three-point line, half-court, turn around. Like, this guy was just having fun out there. And he turned the crowd because they were booing him.
Yeah, they were booing every Warriors player. Draymond got booed. Steph got boos. The thing is with Steph, right, as well, that when you see a performance like that it's actually hard to believe. He's actually been in a bit of a shooting slump this year, hasn't he, BK?
Believe it or not.
But I'll tell you what, after that, I'm pretty safe to say he's out of it.
Yeah, I think the second half of the Warriors season is going to be filled with confidence after that game. But Steph was awesome. LeBron hitting the game winner in Cleveland as well. That was another cool moment in this game. It was just that sort of final frame where things really, really picked up. Guys were playing defense. I mean, I think there was one foul called prior to the fourth quarter. So it was a great finish to a great game.
Well, we've got the LeBron game winner as well. We're going to show that up on the screen right now. What a great way to sort of end the All-Star game. Look at this, BK. Just backs him down, fade away. Game, blouses. Like, that was, what a way to finish the All-Star game. Shout out to LeBron, who was obviously my pick for All-Star MVP, but I wasn't factoring in Steph going absolutely nuclear on them. What did you think of LeBron's performance?
Hey, LeBron did what LeBron does. He was looking for Steph all night. He was getting everyone involved, and then late in the game, he took over. It was a prototypical LeBron performance. But my guy Ja Morant didn't get anywhere near the MVP. Had a couple of nice dunks though. Probably had two of the best plays of the game.
Yeah, and they were early too, if I remember correctly. I think they were in the first or second quarter. Shout out to Ja Morant. It was good to see the vets. I think Giannis had a 30-piece as well. So it was good to see the vets get their numbers. It was also good to see some of the younger guys, go out there and perform. A couple of guys that I was super impressed with, BK. LaMelo Ball had 18 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. DeJounte Murray had 17 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, BK. What did you think of the young guys going out there and showing the world what they've got.
And they combined for that nice, through the legs lob alley-oop between LaMelo and Deontay. But they were probably the two standouts from the young guys. The first-time All-Stars from Cleveland, Garland and Allen. They both had their moments as well. But I think it was more Murray and Melo when they came into the game in that second quarter, and they really kind of got Team Durant going because they were just out there having fun, putting on a show. And I was really impressed by LaMelo Ball and Deontay Murray. This is the first of many All-Star games for these kids.
Oh, absolutely. They're the future of the All-Star game. Like these vets, like obviously LeBron hasn't got many more to go. Steph's probably, got maybe 2, 3 at the most to go. So these guys are sort of going to carry the NBA and, guys like Ja Morant into the future. You did mention that sort of through the legs, pass from LaMelo Ball. And I remember texting you about this yesterday because I was watching that highlight across social media, and it's just amazing how so many people comment underneath, that's a travel, too many steps. Like
it's an All-Star game, everything's a travel.
Like, are these people ever happy? Like, do they want All-Star game, whistles getting called every 3 seconds and fouls and travels and this and that? I was just like, man, just sit back and enjoy some basketball, man. I don't care if you take 17 steps. Like, it was a good highlight.
Hey, that's the rule. If it ends in a highlight, I don't care what happened leading up to it.
All facts, man. All facts. BK, let's move on a little bit to the NBA regular season because we're going to talk a little bit about Chris Paul. Now, he ended up playing in the All-Star game. I think he played a couple of minutes. It was already pre-organized. They wanted him to play a couple of minutes so he could get, I think, 1 assist or something like that. But he's going to be out for the remainder of the regular season for the Phoenix Suns with a fractured thumb. So they say 6 to 8 weeks, I believe, which takes you through to the end of the regular season. Could not have come at a worse time for the Phoenix Suns, BK.
It does and it doesn't. I mean, they've got a 6.5 game lead in the Western Conference. They're kind of in cruise control at the moment. So losing Chris Paul, if you're going to lose him at any point, this is kind of the time, right? Like they can kind of hang on, through the rest of the regular season. I don't know if the Warriors can make up 6.5 games, but this will be an interesting test for some of the other guys on the Suns. I think Devin Booker's MVP campaign might take a nice little boost because he will have to take on a lot more of the scoring and playmaking duties. So this will be a nice opportunity for some of the younger guys, some of the rotation players on the Suns to really get some reps in before the postseason, barring some kind of long losing streak. I'm not really too worried about this for the Phoenix Suns. What about you? You think this is a tough go for them?
Before we get into that, I think we've got the highlight of where he actually hurt his hand. So we're going to show that as we're talking. But look, 6.5 game lead over the Warriors, right? You're right, they are in cruise control, but I think the Warriors might be looking at this as a good opportunity to sort of pounce. And, if they get on a little bit of a streak, which we know that they can do, it's not going to be hard to make up 6.5. Look, it is, but it isn't. But, if anyone can do it, it's the Golden State Warriors.
Facts.
Now, the first 2 games that the Suns have got back after this break are against the OKC Thunder and the Pelicans. So, those 2 games, they probably don't need, Chris Paul to win those games. But, yeah, look, I don't know. If any team can do it, it is going to be the Golden State Warriors. I think they could be looking at this as a good opportunity to, stake their claim for that number 1 seed. As long as Phoenix get Chris Paul back for the playoffs, it should be okay. But, yeah, look, it's not ideal, BK. It's not ideal.
Yeah, and also just from a rhythm standpoint as well, like you want to come into the postseason firing on all cylinders. Chris Paul's obviously an experienced guy, so for him, coming in and clocking back in straight away shouldn't be, too big of a concern. But from a rhythm standpoint, like you want to hope that he's back, maybe with a couple of games to go before the postseason, or really that whatever first round series they have, kind of using that to ease Chris Paul back in. But it's definitely made the Western Conference a little more interesting for the second half of the season, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. These last 20-odd games, it's going to be, I think teams are really, especially these teams that are jostling for playoff seedings, I think they're going to be going all out. So that one's definitely one to keep an eye on, BK. Another team that's getting ready for a playoff run, or hopefully a deep playoff run, is the Brooklyn Nets. They signed Goran Dragic, who was one of the buyout free agents available. There was a few teams interested in him, BK. The Bucks, the Clippers, the Bulls, and the Warriors were interested in Goran Dragic. He's 36 years old now. He's only played 5 games, I think 4 or 5 games with Toronto before they both mutually agreed to sort of sit out until he found a better situation. BK, how does this help the Brooklyn Nets? I mean, obviously, they need a little bit of guard depth because of Kyrie's unavailability, for home games, obviously. He can play well alongside Patty Mills as well because, he can really play off the ball too. So how does this help the Brooklyn Nets?
Look, you said it. It's an insurance policy for Kyrie Irving. And whilst Goran Dragic is still, an effective pick and roll guy, he's still a decent 3-point shooter. I mean, he has been kind of falling off for the past couple of seasons. So this is not the bubble Goran Dragic that the Nets are getting. So offensively, I think he'll still be able to contribute and possibly even play in some crunch time minutes as well. But defensively, when you look at the perimeter for the Nets, you've got Patty Mills, you've got Kyrie Irving, you've got Goran Dragic. There's not a lot of size there. But they do have lineup options where they can maybe protect him a little bit with guys like Claxton, Durant, and Ben Simmons. But in terms of just having a nice veteran piece for the postseason, I do like this move for the Nets because not a lot is going to be expected of Goran Dragic. He'll be able to come in there and just kind of play spot minutes and help them out in big games. He's played in big playoff games before. So I think it was a good move. They gave up Javon Carter to get him and sign him. So they didn't have to give up a ton to get him. I think it was definitely worth a flyer from the Nets perspective.
Yeah, it's one of those like low risk, high rewards from the Nets perspective, I guess. I don't know how much it's going to impact their, chances in the playoffs. But hey, look, for the moment, you add some depth because of Kyrie's unavailability. So we'll see how that one plays out. Just incidentally, Javon Carter was signed by the Milwaukee Bucks this morning, I read.
Hey, there you go. From one contender to another. It's not a bad way to do it.
Yeah, listen, if either Brooklyn or Milwaukee wins the championship, he gets a championship ring either way, BK. Let's quickly touch on the scoring title race a little bit before we take a look at some futures odds, BK. Scoring title, yeah, it kind of gets forgotten, I feel like, the last couple of years, but this year it's getting really interesting, isn't it?
It's very, very tight at the top. We've got a lot of guys averaging 28, 29. You've got Embiid at 29.6. Giannis 29.4, LeBron 29.1. Durant is obviously sidelined at the moment. He's averaging 29.3, and then you got DeMar averaging 28.4. There's just a lot of guys getting a lot of points this season. Out of that group, though, who do you think is best positioned to keep it up for the second half / stretch run of the season?
Look, first of all, with LeBron, right? Because I know LeBron led for a good part of the early part of the season. He was leading the scoring, but LeBron's going to be consistent, right? We know what to expect from LeBron night in, night out. I'm going to go with Joel Embiid because this might change now, obviously, with James Harden there, but they've been relying on him so much offensively that he's been just getting his numbers. Look, his numbers might take a slight drop now that Harden's there, but I also feel like he's on such a roll with such momentum that they've got to keep rolling with the big fella as well. So, look, for me, I'm going to stick with Embiid. I think Embiid might just win it this year.
Yeah, I like that. The whole system is built around Embiid, and Harden will kind of just plug into that. And look, there's not that many games to go for James Harden to just come in and go back to Houston, James Harden. So I don't think that's going to be the case. But I think Giannis has a pretty good case as well here for the scoring title, which just adds another dimension to his legacy. You've got MVPs, Defensive Player of the Years. Now he's going to potentially win a scoring title as well, on top of the ring and the Finals MVP. Like, it's a very well-rounded little resume there for Giannis if you can pick up a scoring title as well.
Listen, it could just be me, but I think I just interpreted that as making a case for Giannis as the GOAT.
Yeah, I'm just telling you facts.
He's going to keep building that resume, man, and I'm going to keep saying that he's the greatest of all time, and one day I'm going to be right about that, BK. Trust me on that one there. All right, there's no NBA games today. They're on a bit of a break. I think they start up again on Friday morning, BK, but we're going to take a look at some futures odds and just sort of see where the league is at money-wise before we head out of here. Phoenix Suns, still favorites for the NBA championship. They're $4.80. The Warriors, $5.60. The Nets, surprisingly, $6.25. I thought they would have dropped down a little bit, just given their poor run of form and their current standing in the Eastern Conference. Milwaukee Bucks, $7. Philadelphia 76ers, $7. Miami, $10. Utah Jazz, $14. Chicago Bulls, $21 there. I don't sort of see anyone outside of those teams, making a championship run, BK. What did you think about that? You think the Phoenix Suns deserve it to be favorites?
Hey, I was more intrigued the fact the Lakers were nowhere to be found on that on that screen just now. But I think the Phoenix Suns still deserve to be favorites. They have been the most consistent team this season and the best team this season, just because they're kind of flying under the radar a little bit. The Warriors are right there with them as well, but it's very tight. There's a lot of teams out there that are going into this postseason thinking this is our year to win the title. It's very open.
I'm surprised that you're surprised that the Lakers aren't on there, because the punters are pretty smart with their money, and they know that if you're betting money on the Lakers to win the championship, that's lost money, right?
I'm still on Westbrook Island. Come on.
Yes, I really do admire the dedication to that, BK. Let's take a look at some of the MVP futures odds here as well. Let's say, here we go. Embiid, $2.20. I think that's pretty bang on at the moment. He should be the favorite. He's right now, I've switched. I've gone off Giannis. I do think Embiid is the MVP right now. Nikola Jokic, you can make a very good case for him too. $3.55. Giannis, $4. There's still some good value in that one there, because he could be right up there too. Steph Curry has drifted a little bit from earlier in the season, so he's up to 12. Ja Morant, 15. DeMar DeRozan, 17. Booker at 22. And Luka Doncic at 22 there, BK. What do you reckon of this one here? The money's pretty bang on there with Joel Embiid, I reckon.
I think so. I think it's down to Jokic and Embiid at this point, given what they've done this season, the level and both the consistency. There's a couple of guys on the outside, guys like DeMar DeRozan. Even Luka Doncic is making like a late case, given the Mavs are actually starting to win games again. But I think it really does come down to these two. And the crazy thing is, one of these guys is not going to be on the All-NBA first team.
Yeah, well, that's saying something, isn't it? Like, there's been so many guys performing at such a high level. I mean, DeMar DeRozan at $17 there. Like, I would say there's good value in that, but because he's just been having such an incredible season. But when you compare his season to Embiid and Jokic, I just don't see anyone voting for DeMar over those two.
Even if they're the number one seed in the East?
Yeah, even if they're the number one seed in the East. Like, I think if Philly ends up in the top four, obviously I think that cements it for Embiid, and likewise for Jokic. If Denver somehow ends up in the top four, which I just don't think they do that either, but if somehow they do, I think that they've got more of a case for that than DeMar and the Bulls being number one.
So we're going to go back-to-back big men MVPs here.
Yeah, but look, technically, if you count, I mean, Giannis is 6'11", so it's...
Yeah, how big is big?
Yeah, I mean, big is big, so technically you could be, four or five in a row with Giannis, Jokic. It could be four in a row with big men.
The big man is back. Small ball's finished.
Yeah, that's a small ball is out of here. All right, let's take a look at the Rookie of the Year futures as well before we get out of here, BK. Evan Mobley continues to be the favorite, and rightly so. He's at $1.20. Cade Cunningham, $9.50, along with Josh Giddey and Scotty Barnes. See, this is the thing. Like, for me, that is it. The 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. Like, they're the four guys. But I do have Evan Mobley as the clear favorite. Franz Wagner, 22, Dossi Minu at 61, Dwight 81, and Jalen Green at 100. Jalen Green was actually my preseason pick, and he's 126.
Yeah, he was my preseason pick too. 126 dunk attempts. That's where it gets you.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what it gets you. But Josh Giddey there at $9.50. We've spoken about this, a few times, BK. He, a few more triple doubles. I just think that the Thunder's record's going to count against them, especially compared to the Cleveland Cavaliers that are going to make the playoffs. And Evan Mobley's been fantastic all season. So is Josh Giddey, but I think the Thunder's record will count against them in the end. It's Evan Mobley's to lose at this point.
Out of that group that's kind of tied for second with Giddey, Barnes, and Cade, shout out to Team Rooks in the skills challenge. Do you think Giddey is the best position amongst those guys to maybe at least make it a race with Evan Mobley?
Yes. I've probably got Giddey and maybe Cade Cunningham, like sort of.
They interchange every
interchangeable,
week.
Yeah, definitely for sure. But
I think when you look at Giddey's resume, though, if he ends up with every Western Conference Rookie of the Month award for the season, maybe throws in another 5 triple doubles, you can make a real case for him.
You could, yeah, absolutely. But like I said, I just feel like that record, because the Thunder are going to finish well below 500, and they're probably going to finish in the bottom 3 of the Western Conference. I can't see how they give it to Giddey over Mobley, just given how good Cleveland's been.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. But Rookie of the Year, I don't know how much wins should actually factor in, because, I mean,
they all suck, except for Cleveland.
Normally they're on terrible teams. I mean, Mobley's the exception. I mean, he's made what was a pretty terrible team really, really good. So that has to count. Like, that has to count if you're making your team win games and be a playoff team.
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, Melo swept the Western Conference Rookie of the Month award too, and Denver was like a plus 23 in the win column, and he still didn't win it. So,
he should have.
He should have. You and I are both dying on this island together, actually.
I'm dying on a lot of struggling islands. Melo Rookie of the Year, Team Westbrook.
I love it. All right, BK, that's going to do it for us today. We're going to see you again on Friday morning, I guess. Yeah. What are you going to do over the next couple of days with no NBA basketball?
That is a great question. I don't know what to do with myself.
Hey,
I gotta get a hobby or something.
Yeah, maybe just go out and enjoy the sunshine,
Yeah, it sounds like a plan.
All right, my man. We'll see you on Friday morning. This has been another episode of the Last Shot NBA show here on Little Birdie TV, brought to you by our good friends over there at topsport.com.au. We'll see you guys on Friday morning.